Panda Bear Person Pitch wasn't the first spin-off album by a member of Animal Collective, but Noah Lennox's harmony-drenched psychedelic dance extravaganza was a breakthrough, a turning point between his and the group's experimental roots and their beat-filled future. It was a major creative shift that also found them a massive new audience. Definitively establishing Lennox's creative voice, Person Pitch was recorded between Animal Collective tours and released in 2007. Its bright harmonies and airy textures mimicking the atmosphere of Lisbon, Portugal, where he'd moved a few years before, its introspective lyrics reflecting his newfound fatherhood, its sample-heavy collages signaling a bold new direction. On the opening Comfy in Nautica, an enveloping mood setter released as the album's lead single, one of the first sounds is a buoyant choral loop that seems to tug Lennox's already soaring vocals even higher into the stratosphere. Person Pitch is full of similarly evocative sounds pulled from unexpected sources, like medieval choral music and Indian drumming, and layer upon layer of sampled guitars, which he works into the mix like thick daubs of oil paint. And there are all kinds of strange sound effects, like racing cars and bird calls, many of them downloaded off the internet. Bros highlights Lennox's unique approach to sampling and looping. In Animal Collective, he'd often play the drummer's role, and sometimes the actual drummer. And his rhythmic sensibility is on display in the song's complex pulses, where strums and chimes take the place of percussion. There was a practical reason for the change in his methodology. When Lennox moved to Lisbon, his guitar got held up in customs. Instead, he turned to his trusty Boss SP303 sampler, also known as a Dr. Sample, which he'd acquired after reading that hip-hop producer Madlib used one. In fact, by the time of Person Pitch, Lennox said that he'd gone through 4 of the little machines. The Dr. Sample allowed him to build evolving grooves inspired by minimal techno's repetitive patterns. Take Pills isn't actually about partying, despite Person Pitch's electronic undercurrents and Animal Collective's psychedelic reputation. The song is actually about getting off antidepressants, something Lennox had struggled with. Throughout Person Pitch, Lennox writes in an introspective, seemingly diaristic mode. Bros, a plea for personal space, reads like a frustrated letter to an old friend. Good Girl Carrot is the album's longest song. Running nearly 13 minutes, it's structured like a DJ mix, starting with loop tablas and grinding noise, flipping into a shuffling hip-hop inspired beat, and ending with a passage reminiscent of 60s girl groups. A list of influences printed in the album's liner notes reads like a listening diary of Lennox's years working at New York's Other Music, a record store famous for its deep crates. In addition to psychedelic touchstones like Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, and Vashti Bunyan, he also names a host of electronic acts, from Daft Punk and Basement Jaxx to European experimental techno producers like Luomo and Dettinger. In the streaming era, omnivorous tastes have become far more common. But back when Lennox released Person Pitch, musical scenes were a lot more cloistered, which made Panda Bear's radically inclusive vision especially striking, and people responded to it. Person Pitch was voted Pitchfork's #1 album of 2007, with St. Vincent, Bradford Cox, and Diplo all citing it as one of the year's highlights. But what makes Person Pitch so enduring is the way it simultaneously functions as an expression of vulnerability, a roadmap to Lennox's eclectic tastes, and a thrilling immersive experience. An era-defining candy-colored vision that remains a skeleton key to other worlds.